Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mary.
Thank you. All right. So it's Stella and Mary. Okay, I thought it was only going to be Stella, but
Yeah.
dynamic duo is even better. All right. Can we please have roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Liz Silva,
Present.
Councilmember Scott Font,
Present.
Councilmember Lorraine Worthy,
Present.
Councilmember Maria Orozco.
Present.
And Mayor Jose Rios.
Present. All right. First on the agenda is something that I never can get enough of, and I'm so proud of these young men, is the certificate of recognition for the Gonzales High School 2025 state finalist soccer team. So Mary, would you join me in the front there to present the certificates, please? Thank you.
Yeah, they're out there. Nice big group. All in their matching gear.
I'm moving here. Go here.
All right, so guys, what we're gonna do this with special certificates of recognition. And then we're gonna let the coaches speak a little bit, and then after that, we're gonna go to the podium. Okay, and then take a picture so we can stay here for posterity. And everybody can say, wow, this is our team. Mary?
Yes. So we have certificates of recognition for the Gonzales High School boys soccer team. On behalf of the City Council of the City of Gonzales, we would like to express our congratulations and recognition for our season record of 24-2 most wins in Gonzales soccer history, PCAL Cypress Division League champions, CCS Division 4 champions, and CIF state runner-ups. We're very proud of your accomplishments and for representing your school, community, and families with the highest degree of integrity, dignity, and sportsmanship. Once again, congratulations and go Spartans. So I'm gonna read the names. Aaron Pacheco. Okay, you would wanna get it?
And we've also included there a little gift certificate so they can get a little tips. I know a teenage boy, long time ago, I was a teenager and I could never fill out.
Angel Rodriguez.
Okay.
Daniel Garcia. Yes, I did. I'm giving them to them. Diego Blanco. Edgar Santiago. Emmanuel Valdez. Isaiah Esquivel. Joel Lorenzo. Lorenzo. Jonathan Medina. Jorge Lara. Jorge Uribe. Jose Camacho. Kevin Tavares. Luis Benavides. Luis Cavada. Matthew Arreola. Miguel Ibarra. Omar Gonzalez. Sorry. Pedro Tejeda. Oh, he's not here. Sebastian Ramirez. Ulises Mancias. And Vicente Davila. We also have the coaches certificates. So for the head coach, Miguel Vidauri. Assistant coach Daniel Pulido. Assistant coach Carlos Torres. Assistant coach Michael Flores. And assistant coach Eleazar Trenado. That's it. So you want to try something?
I just wanted to say something to the boys. Gentlemen, I'm assuming most of you have watched 300 Spartans. Show of hands, have you watched it? Yes? Did they win or lose? Okay. Ultimately, they lost that battle, right? The state title, you guys may have come in second in other people's eyes, in my eyes, in this community. You're number one, because you brought this community together. I had never been to a game, and my wife encouraged me to go because I told her, here, what am I going to see? But at that particular game, I realized you don't need to see. You had the band going, defense, defense, when they had the ball. And when we had the ball, they said, go, Spartans, go. So I knew. And the beauty of that was, for most of the night, I didn't hear defense. I heard, go, Spartans, go. Those guys were lucky they got out in one piece. Because as far as I'm concerned, you guys are champions. Coach Vidari, got some words for the boys?
Good evening, everyone. First off, I want to say thank you, especially, me being a homegrown here from Gonzales, ever since Gloria, and I had a good coach right here, and he, it was a big help, coming from, starting from the bottom, and, it's been a real pleasure growing up here, and then obviously being able to coach, at my 34 years of age, I still feel young, but these kids keep me younger. So we had a really, really good season. Obviously at the last minute fell short, but in my eyes, I told them, hey, that state championship, all that was a bonus, and our ultimate goal was to win league and to win CCS. So we did that. Facing schools that, that had double or triple our size, almost as big as our little town here, right? And, something that I've always said, bigger doesn't mean better. And we were able to succeed this year. And I know for a fact we're going to be back again next year and the years after that. We have a really good culture here in Gonzales. So, I want to say, obviously, thank you for all you guys that have been part of this and helping us out. And, we also have, a couple CCS champs here in the room. I know I saw Roman here, Roman Valdez right here. He was the captain of our team, and we were in, we won in 2007. Obviously, Michael Flores, that's also on my coaching staff. And, Danny Pulido, and he's been a champion, in Alice Howe High School, but luckily I brought him out over here. So, and obviously, thank you guys for everything. And, we'll be back. Thank you.
Everyone. That one.
That's when you were in school, though, right? Okay, I want to know which one of you is the goalie? Which one? Who's the goalie? You're the goalie? I don't understand soccer too much, but I know you got a really hard job to keep them out, right? Oh, sure. Well, because I'm so tall. Yeah. Good. Go Spartans. Okay, over here. Okay. Ready? This one first, and then you can. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
1, 2.
You're fine. Right,
Okay.
right here. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here.
Woo, made it back in one piece. Microphone's still on, right? Liz?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, that was wonderful. It's always fun to do that, and we're so appreciative that they've taken the time out of their busy day to come over here, because I know that they probably got homework and a lot of other things to do. So thank you, gentlemen. Next on the agenda is the proclamation 2025-01, proclaiming April as Military Child Month. I need a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carmen, do you want to read the proclamation?
I will, and I wanted to invite Krista McCann, in case she had a few words before.
Yes, great.
Beforehand, she reached out and made sure that we recognized April was the month of the military child, and so I invited her to say a few words as to what this means to her. And then I know we have some council members who may also be children of military folks, so if they want to chime in as well before I read the proclamation in terms of why this is important to them, I think that'd be appreciated.
Hello, I'm Chris McCann. I'm part of the American Legion Auxiliary Gonzales Unit 81. I am a military child. My father served in the United States Army. So I didn't get to see him a lot growing up because he was deployed overseas. He went to Germany and he also went to Japan, so he wasn't home. So what it means to be a military child is you have sacrifices that you make. You don't get to see that family member who's serving because they're serving for the greater good. So we want to recognize children because they are the silent, unsung heroes, and they have to live with that constant fear of getting that call. So we just wanted to make sure that April is recognized as Military Child Month. And then we do have some junior members of our auxiliary, so they're granddaughters and sons of military servicemen. And that's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, before I read the proclamation, I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything.
Ladies? Scott?
I'll chime in. Carissa, thank you for being here. And it is to bring awareness, as Carissa mentioned, there are a lot of children in this world, in the United States, whose parents are away from home a lot. And this is a way for the American Legion Auxiliary to recognize that and provide them with services. And that is something our unit has done for quite a few years now. And I believe most of the children in military families right now reside on the peninsula. I don't know too many that are here in the Valley. My father served post-World War II in the Navy. So he served before I was even thought of or born. But I can't even imagine how it would be for children growing up without a parent in the home during their service to the country. So thank you.
I am not a child of military parent. I didn't have a parent that served in the military, but I do have a husband who served in the military. And as Carissa mentioned, the children are the ones that I believe suffer the most, because a lot of them don't want to say anything to their mothers or to their fathers for fear of making them feel concerned as well. So I really am grateful today that Chris is here, and I'm glad that we as a city are recognizing the military child for the month of April. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, then I would gladly read the proclamation if there's nothing else. So proclamation number 2025-01, whereas the Department of Defense has designated April as a month of the military child and takes this time to celebrate and recognize all military children's sacrifices and resilience. And whereas the City of Gonzales acknowledges the unique challenges that military children face. And whereas the City of Gonzales believes it is essential to recognize that military children make significant contributions to the country while dealing with uncertainty and concern for their parents during extended hours and long deployments. And whereas these resilient young individuals demonstrate unwavering commitment, adaptability, and courage. And whereas military children contribute significantly to the strength and resilience of our military families and communities. And whereas their sacrifices often go unnoticed. And whereas the month of the military child provides an opportunity to celebrate their achievements, honor their past, cherish their present, and shape a brighter future. And therefore it be known that we recognize and appreciate the contributions of military children and youth, and we commit to providing them with positive youth development opportunities. Now be it resolved that the City of Gonzales and its council hereby declares the month of April as the month of the military child, and call upon a community to observe this month and honor our military children for their resilience and sacrifice.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you for your time today.
All right, moving on is comments from the public. Any member of the public may make comments to the council on any subject not on the agenda. The council will listen to all comments, but will take no action and make no comments. The presenter is limited to 3 minutes. So anyone wishing to say to the council, please step forward. Yes. And one thing that's been noted is that there are children in the audience, so we hope that the comments made are respectful and dignified. So please, anyone wishing to comment before the council may do so at this time.
All right. We had an exciting couple of weeks. 70,000 people saw 2 people get beat on 5th Street. This is a problem in Gonzales. There should be no police chases, period, going through our town. Our school zone has a 500 feet radius according to California standards, which surpasses the bridge and almost to the end of the city limits. According to the police manual for pursuits are not supposed to go anywhere near a school zone. Period. That pursuit should have been cut off before even getting into town, knowing the fact that what was going to happen. But it didn't stop that. So the videos that were uploaded to the Gonzales Real News, 70,000 people saw that. 158 people shared it. 87 commented on it. And over 329 people liked it. And nobody put a stop to these officers beating on the woman, beating on the man. And they didn't have no self-respect for their language, as you guys tend to have, stated right now. But what is to be done? Nothing. Because it just gets washed underneath the table again. And then let's go on the next news story. I guess there was a suicide in town. Where is the police's guardrails, the protection to prevent that body from just sitting on the ground and letting countless people look at it? Salinas has guardrails. Highway Patrol's got guardrails. We can cover. But somehow, magically, this is my fault. I'm not even in town. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But hey, I had fun commenting on there, but that's okay. So that's not including the other one. There was posts of a child getting falsely accused for a crime that he didn't do and was held down by gun points from the Gonzales police officers. And then find out, oh, my bad, it's the wrong person. I don't know what's going on. Our officers need training. Seriously retraining on their standards and all this stuff. If you think I'm playing around with them.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez, for your comments.
Henry Martinez III. Yes, my dad sent me to go over there, and I actually witnessed the dead body. It's Toby Avicii. I got his name, and
I'm gonna ask you to be respectful of the family who suffered a loss.
Yes, no, I'm respecting him.
Yes, but
So it
no
was
need to
sad for
mention
me.
names. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's what they told me, so sorry about that. But it was very sad. I got depressed, and I respected him. Told him, "Hey, you live a good life, and Jesus will take care of you, and all that." But now I'm suffering with court right now because falsely accusing me for attempting murder and falsely accusing me of assaulting an officer and battery. Right now, I just witnessed Officer Perez lied to his buddy, and he testified against me, saying he believed that they was on the scene. His buddy tossed me to the car that was damaged, and now he's putting it on towards my dad, which is unfair. So I have my lawyer going through all this, my dad's lawyer going through all this, and I hardly go out of the house because I don't feel safe here. Might have to move away from here because of these officers. I love this place. This is my hometown. I graduated from here, from this school, Gonzales. And I've been working with my football coach, working out every day. He always tell me, don't get stressed over nothing. Don't get stressed over other things that what happened. Just mostly you want is you to focus in life, get to college, which I'm taking college hard now. I want to do football, but he always tells me, if you want to reach that goal, you got to stop what you're doing and go surpass that. And now it hurts me the most that officers are really doing nothing here no more. They bought AR-30s at $750 while we could have bought other things to help this town, fixing up roads, painting the curbs red, and make the bridge wider because the bike lanes are a little bit short. I was like go around riding my bike, working out, and these roads need to be fixed over by a baseball park. There's many potholes, and I love this town. I'm always supportive. And Mayor, congratulations. I know you're retiring from your mayor spot, but I respect you and everything. I love what you do. You help this town very much. So
Thank
have
you,
a good
Mr.
day.
Martinez.
Henry Martinez. I was also not in town. And I got a letter. I filed this complaint in December. 4 months later, I get an answer back that they're looking into it. What kind of speedy response is that from the police department? 4 months later. And then, answering my son's question, it's called a screen guard photograph barrier that costs $252. One gun could have bought 3. They're foldable, storable, and they set up on the scenes. Again, I was a driver for Swinson and Salashi. I've seen a lot of shootings in Salinas, and I see them put up the barricade so people won't be taking pictures or anything. And then the chase started from the dump into town. What happened to protect and serve? Buying a machine gun instead of tire spikes, they could have gone up the road, a mile out of road, wait for them to turn the corner, throw the spikes out to keep them out of Gonzales. Their spending is wrong to buy guns. We should be buying non-lethal stuff and you know, more training how to use batons so you don't have to shoot people in the head and throw people on their knees. You know, you guys continue protecting him and them. One of our perpetrators is sitting back there. and we're guilty, we're bad, we're dangerous. You know, think about it. $257, $252, three of them, one less gun, could have covered the body. He was a nice man, nice fellow. He should have been covered, protected, given him his decency to be covered. He didn't have to lay there. He's our fellow citizen. Is that the Gonzalez way you guys talk about? That you leave a respectable person on the ground where he can be seen? Instead of buying guns for the police department for a small town that don't have big shootouts like they do in Soledad, Greenfield, and King City, and San Jose, we don't have that shootout here. He should be deploying different methods and protecting our citizens that got wrecked on the bridge is number one. We should have had the spike and gone up the hill and spiked them so he can wreck into the fields, not into our fellow citizens here in Gonzales. I don't know how many people got hurt in those two other cars.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Is there anyone else wishing to comment? Okay, I'll go ahead and ask, is Estella right today? Okay, Estella, do we have anyone via Zoom?
No one via Zoom.
Okay, Mary, do we have any comments via email?
No comments via email.
All right, thank you. Then we'll go ahead and close the public comment period and bring it back to council and move on with the council agenda. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. If you've had an opportunity to review that, either entertain a motion for pulling an item or comments on it. So you guys are gonna have to speak up because I'm afraid I can't see you even if you raise your hand.
No comments.
Okay, no comments, no comments?
No.
Okay, all right,
Move
then
for
I'll entertain a
approval.
motion. Maria,
So moved.
okay,
Second.
second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're moving on to the regular agenda item, and this is a request from PG&E. And unfortunately, because of the nature of the request and who the company is, I am reclusing myself from the discussion. So, all yours. Let me get out of here. Thank you.
But a clarification from the city manager, I don't see any representative from PG&E here in the room.
They're attending via Zoom. There's a government affairs person attending via Zoom.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I didn't see anybody here. And this is the reminder, yes, I knew he was. I didn't know PG&E was. Mary, can you shut the door once the mayor is out in the lobby, please? Thank you. So we'll proceed to regular agenda item number 9, a request from PG&E to replace trees at the North Alta Street entry. Staff report?
Mayor Pro Tem Silva, council members, just a quick presentation. As mentioned in the staff report, PG&E is requesting encroachment permit from the city to remove 5 trees at the North Alta Street entry as they were located under electrical transmission lines and are considered a potential hazard. PG&E has offered to replace the 5 trees at a 2-to-1 basis with shrubs. We worked with the city's landscape maintenance contractor, Smith & Enright, to select a shrub that's acceptable to PG&E to replace these trees that will complement the existing landscaping at the North Alta Street entry. So they recommended, as mentioned in the staff report, the frosty blue ceanothus for several reasons, and I'll just mention 2, that they'll grow to 6 to 8 feet tall, and they're tolerant of clayey soils, which we have in Gonzales. PG&E will hire Davey Tree Service to remove the 5 trees and grind the stumps, and then PG&E will pay Smith & Enright to purchase and plant the 10 frosty blue ceanothus shrubs at the same location. That cost is approximately $800. So in conclusion, staff recommends the City Council approved PG&E's request to remove the 5 trees and replace them with 10 ceanothus shrubs. That's my presentation. Ready for questions?
Thank you. We'll move on for public comment. Is there anyone from the public who has anything to say on this topic tonight? Seeing nobody rushing to the podium, I'll take it to Estela. Is there anyone on Zoom?
Nobody via Zoom.
Mary, was there any emails?
No comments via email.
Thank you. I'll bring it back to council for further discussion. Any council member have any comments on this topic? Maria?
No.
Scott? Lorraine?
Question. And that was, would it be extremely expensive for them to take those overhead and bury them in the ground?
Yes, it'd be very expensive because they're transmission lines, not the standard power lines that we have around town.
Okay. I mean, I know we had this discussion, I think last year about, you know, what we were going to plant or, you know, what could be planted there. And I remember us having the discussion about bushes. And I mean, I'm not opposed to the bushes. I was just wondering if there was anything that could, it's too bad that we have to cut the trees down. I just feel bad about that. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I, however, do have a few comments. Growing up here, you know, this town is home. Coming in today, I was very concerned about this topic tonight. So I pulled over to the side of the road just to see how close those trees are to the transmission lines. And at 2 o'clock this afternoon, it does not appear to me or my phone that these trees are that close to the power lines. As Lorraine mentioned, I too was wondering about undergrounding. And I believe PG&E has rule number 20 that addresses that particular item. I went online today, this afternoon. Again, I'm trying to get as much information as I can so I can be better informed. PG&E Rule 20 states, in response to local government interest in enhancing the aesthetics of their communities, the California Public Utilities Commission, CPUC, in 1967, established Electric Tariff Rule 20. It contains 3 separate programs that provide for the undergrounding of existing overhead utility lines. So I'm wondering why that information was not included in the packet so that we can all, as a council, be better informed on this topic. The bushes, to me, are really not a good trade-off. To me, bushes create more of a visual impairment to drivers. And I think where the trees are, there wouldn't be much driving back there. But again, I like the beauty of trees coming into town. I'm just maybe old-fashioned that way. And maybe this is a question to the person from PG&E, representing PG&E on the Zoom, and I don't see you on the picture, so I apologize if I am speaking out of line. But you know, we have some potential businesses coming to our city. There's one cooler that's supposed to be coming in on Gloria Road, and to my knowledge, power to that business, which could generate revenue to our city, is not expected until 26 or 27. Maybe that's something that we can take a look at rather than cutting down trees that are in really nobody's way. And again, visually, I don't see that they're in the way of the power lines at this time. And I guess my last question is this something that PG&E would ask other communities in our county, communities such as on the peninsula? Would this be the kind of request that would go to Carmel? Or are we, because we're here in the valley, well, yeah, let's do it in Gonzales. They'll say yes. And I'm not quite sure that we might say yes. So I was a little taken aback personally. And I just want to protect the beauty of our little town. And by taking down those pine trees, I don't think it would be in our best interest, but I'll leave it up to the majority of our council. So with that, I will close my comments and bring it back. If there's anybody from PG&E who has anything to say, I'd like to hear them.
So have you elevated her to what panelists? Is she? Jasmine, are you able to address the council?
Hi, yes, everybody. This is Jasmine Venegas. I'm the government relations representative at PG&E, covering the Central Coast. I would not feel, I'm monitoring the meeting for the purpose of just knowing how the council discusses and votes on the item. I wouldn't feel qualified to speak to the project itself, unfortunately. I would leave that to my colleagues who've been coordinating with the city up until this point. But to address the council's question about whether or not this is something that we impose or request from other municipalities and other jurisdictions, yes, we do it all over our service territory. So it's not a matter of singling out any one jurisdiction. I would say that much, but I would defer to my colleagues, and unfortunately, I don't think they're on the call to answer about clearance or about the need or the necessity to clear those trees for our transmission lines. But I know that the city staff has been in multiple discussions over the course of, I believe, 2 years, pleading our case with PG&E, for PG&E pleading our case with the city. So I believe that city staff is well capable of addressing those concerns or those questions from council. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Not all of my concerns were addressed.
And I just want to mention that in the PG&E guidelines for plantings within the transmission corridor, basically they talk about the wire zone and that there's only small plants and shrubs not to exceed 10 feet is what is in their guidelines.
I'd much prefer to hear that they're going to put the utility lines underground, and then we could have this discussion. I just don't think that by taking down the trees is going to be the answer for us today. Again, if you want to see the pictures I took at 2 o'clock this afternoon, they're not leaning on the power lines, they're not leaning on the poles. If we need to table this to another time, then so be it. But again, I just, like I said, that Rule 20, that's what gives them the right to go underground. Years ago, I'm talking when Carla Pugh was probably the city manager here in Gonzales, and that's got to be more than 25 years ago. PG&E did a project to do the underground over here on Alta, probably going south on Alta from about 7th Street or 6th Street or right in there. So I don't see why they can't do it again for a shorter span. So my preference would be we could table this if we could get more information, because I'm just not comfortable voting on this tonight.
Yeah, Mayor Person, if I could, one, I know your pictures are different than what's in the packet. The packet clearly shows within a few feet, but Mr. Dobbins, has there been discussion about undergrounding? Is that something that had been discussed or whatnot? So,
no, that hasn't been discussed.
Okay.
Again, these are transmission lines, not the
understood
power lines around town.
Yeah. Okay.
We can absolutely table this item, and I'll get more information from PG&E.
I would feel more comfortable because, again, I don't want this to be railroaded over us, and because they're bringing it to us doesn't mean we have to rubber stamp it, in my opinion. And again, I took this picture at 2 o'clock. I got off my car, got into the side between the road and the railroad tracks, and you can clearly see that there's a gap. The pictures that you provided in our packet have a different angle, so it looks like they're all bunched up. They're not all bunched up. So again, I just want to have the facts in front of us as they are today, and I would prefer that we look at an alternative to bury those lines, and then if they bury the lines, then those trees don't have to come out. Plain and simple, just saying. So do I hear a motion for action?
To table it until perhaps at the next meeting we can have someone who can answer the questions from PG&E.
Yes, that way she doesn't have the answers, but if somebody from her group can provide the detailed answer, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Maria. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded to table this particular topic until our next meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Yeah, I don't think we need to vote on it, but yeah.
We're good. Thank you.
Yep.
Mary, can you call our mayor back in?
Before we bring in Mayor, Jasmine wanted to say something else.
Huh?
Jasmine had more comments.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fine. We voted already, but she can.
Well, it wasn't a votable item, what we did.
Excuse me?
By moving it, it's not a votable item. Mike can confirm that.
She can chime in again.
Oh, agree.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm just commenting. Sorry, you were saying she couldn't because we voted, but saying there wasn't a votable item, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not gonna retract it, but yeah, she can talk.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. That's okay. That's okay. Fully understood. And we will come back at the request of the city with more information and with personnel and subject matter experts who can speak to the issue of undergrounding and that process. And we'll be following up. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're waiting for the mayor to come back in the room. They were busy working or caught in traffic.
Probably caught in traffic. Okay, moving on. We have the GYC. Are they here today? Okay,
Hello. Hi.
commissioners, it's up to you.
Hi, good evening, council. For today's report, I'll be talking about the South County Youth Summit updates, and then I'll pass it over to Emily, and she'll share to you some of the Adulting 101's update that's been going on. So for the South County Youth Summit, we have been so far attending our regular scheduled meetings every other week. And so far we had 4 meetings, and we are planning the upcoming summit to be held hopefully within Greenfield this year. Last year we had it in the Mainstream Middle School, and we had about a good turnout, I would say, of students from across the county, from Soledad, Greenfield, and Gonzales. And we're planning for this upcoming summit to be held on May 24th, as well as be at the high school in Greenfield High. And additionally, for the planning phase, we have started our committees, and we're excited that we already have our plans, and we already have a planned theme for the summit and pretty much it. Thank you. Pass it over to Emily.
Hello. Good evening, council. Thank you, Valeria, for the updates on the youth summit. I have updates on the overall youth council. We had the education team, which recently finished their project with with UC Scout and the teacher shortage, which was addressed to the school board. So I'm really happy we finished that project and we got a lot of work done. And now we're transitioning to the Adulting 101 project, where we are preparing our youth for adulthood, teaching them about credit, taxes, like all financial management, and also just allowing our youth to understand the process of becoming an adult and having that smooth transition. But that's overall. Thank you.
You. Great, thank you. Any questions from council for the youth?
No question.
No?
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, real quick question right here.
This is the $64,000 question. Do you have the date yet for the ribbon cutting of the renovation at the stadium?
I do. I think I do have to get back to you. I believe it's going to be at the end of April this month, because I know the stadium is already going to be completed, and right now we're kind of in the curing phase where it's just like, having to stay still. But I could get back with you with the date. But I do believe it should be within the end of April this month and beginning of May.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to commission, council boards and committees. Oh, I apologize. Could you read that for me, Liz? Okay.
We have item number 11 on today's agenda is to consider appointment to the Planning Commission. There is a vacancy. There have been two letters of interest submitted. So I believe one of the applicants is here, right? Just
Through-
one?
Just one?
They're both through the mayor, or there's two applicants.
Right,
And
and one is
two,
Both here.
both of them are here. They will share a little bit about what their interest
Okay.
is and why they should be selected. And then
Okay.
you will be able to decide
Got it.
who will go on the planning commission.
Great. Thank you.
So,
Who would like to step up first?
Delia.
Deli.
We did have I just want to share, we did have quite interest this time around. We had 4 really good applicants and the mayor narrowed them down to 2. So you'll be hearing from Miss Delia Jimenez today and Gutierrez. Sorry,
It's okay.
my apologies. And
Miss
Stephanie
Jimenez, but now she's
Mayagon.
Gutierrez.
My apologies.
For the last 33 years, they did.
Just a few years, huh, Delia?
Yeah. I'm Delia Gutierrez, and I live at 1614 Escalante Way. Good evening, Mayor Rios and council members. I take great pride in being a lifelong resident of Gonzales. My grandparents lived here. My parents live here. My husband and I raised our children here, and now they are raising our grandchildren here in Gonzales. This gives me a vested interest in the future of Gonzales. I support well-planned growth. In the past, I have served on the Gonzales City Council and numerous committees for both the city and the Gonzales School District. I recently retired after working for 28 years for the Monterey County Department of Child Support Services. And now I have more time to dedicate and serve our community. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Stephanie? Magayon. Did we pronounce that correctly, Stephanie Magayon?
Yes, you're right on there.
Thank you.
Better than Malagon, which is what I'm used to.
Yeah.
All right, so good evening. Thank you for having me here. My name's Stephanie Magayon, and I want to start off by just telling you guys a little bit about myself. I'm proud to say that I was raised most of my life here in Gonzales, graduated from Gonzales High School, and now I'm raising my children here in Gonzales. One of them is here over there by my husband, and you know, our goal is to stay here for as long as we can. Now, I've always believed that information is power. You know, imagine if all of our residents, neighbors, they had all the information and resources that they needed to improve their quality of life. I think that they would, and I think that our neighborhoods would be a lot better off. And I can tell you that from experience growing up in a low-income home, seeing my mom, my neighbors struggle for the lack of information, whether it be a language or cultural barrier. And that's why for the last decade and a half, I've dedicated myself to informing the community, highlighting the issues that residents are facing across the state, and the lack of housing, public safety, education, politics, you name it, and also advocating for change. And I've been doing that as a journalist. I was a reporter for the local CBS affiliate KION, a news anchor for several years for Telemundo Costa Central, and a reporter for NBC Bay Area and Telemundo Bay Area. In the last year, I've transitioned my role to a public relations position for PG&E. I am actually a spokesperson for the company, and I'm dedicating myself to create transparency within the company and inform the community about the different programs and resources that are available to them as energy prices increase and as we transition to a net zero state. Now, I tell you this because yes, informing the community has always been a passion of mine, but I want to do more than that. I want to have visibility, and most importantly, I want to have a say in the decisions that are shaping my community, and that's why I'm here. I believe that Gonzales can gradually grow without losing its essence, which is what makes this place such an incredible place to raise a family. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Are there two?
No, there's one. That's what I said.
We only have one opening.
We only have one.
We do have an opening on Measure K though, so just putting it out there.
All right, folks, you've heard from the candidates. And I'm going to stay quiet. I'm going to let someone here on the... Oh, no. Oh, no. I am the leader. Yes, I am. But I think in this case, I would be remiss and maybe potentially conflict there. So I don't want to say anything about that. But it does, I mean, they're both excellent candidates, to be honest with you. And I do kind of wish that there was 2 openings, but there's not. There's just 1 opening. It was created by Mr. Ernie Mancera when he left to move to Salinas to purchase the home in Salinas. He got tired of waiting for the homes in Gonzales.
Patience.
I know, but yeah, a lot of folks are liking that.
I don't think it's going to be an easy decision. I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. Delia's retired, and Stephanie, you're still working full time, and you have a lot, it sounds like, on your plate. So I'm trying to look at it from those 2 perspectives. Being on the Planning Commission is a very important position. You have to learn about how the city works, how it grows. You're both great candidates. I mean, I can't make a decision, but I thought I'd throw those things out there just because Delia has experience in city government. She has been on the city council. But you have experience with PG&E and with public relations. So, you know, there's some balance there. So that's what I'm saying to my fellow council members. I just thought I'd bring those 2 things up because there's a couple of, you're both very strong candidates, and it's hard for me to just decide. And you're both locals too. You both grew up here, correct? Yeah, so.
And coming from one that did grow up here as well, a little older than both of you, a lot older than probably Stephanie. I want to thank you both for coming forward and submitting your letters of interest. I know it's probably one of the hardest things for people to do, to get involved in your community. It's easier to kind of sit back and say, why didn't this happen? Why didn't they do this? Than to be part of the solution. Earlier today, I had a conversation with a young lady in Salinas, and I mentioned I was coming to a city council meeting. She seemed very interested. So I said, you know, you have to be part of the solution. So thank you for stepping forward to be part of the solutions. We have a lot of solutions that are coming to us. Stay involved. Even if you're not appointed tonight, stay involved. Stay involved again if there's another vacancy. Stay involved if there's opportunities at the city council level as well. You know, I just say, you know, be active in our community like I think most of us are anyway. Thank you. And it's not an easy one to make.
No, it's not.
I'm going to leave it up to the mayor.
Bob, I'd like to hear from this side of the room. Any comments, concerns, questions?
No questions, and I would agree that both persons sound of the. I mean, I would definitely second either nomination. So I have no concern to either person, and both live here and obviously both dedicate their lives to the community and plus. So no concerns at all.
Lydia?
I'd just like to echo what everybody else has said.
All right.
It's challenging. You know, I think we always, you know, look for those individuals who are, of course, who are knowledgeable in the different aspects of planning and government and city government. So, and we always welcome new faces and new residents who want to get involved. So. Both are excellent candidates.
Yeah, I see. Okay, yeah. That's why I get the big bucks.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I can make a nomination, if you like me to.
If you want to make a nomination,
yeah. I'll make a nomination that we nominate Delia Gutierrez as our planning commissioner.
I had a nomination, a second. Any other comments?
No.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Again, thank you both.
Thank you both.
As the city manager noted, there isn't Measure X.
Measure K.
I'm sorry, Measure K. My apologies.
Wrong letter.
Wrong letter.
Which is a great committee to be on. It's directs funds for within the community. I serve on that one as well. We do have an opening as well, so I would invite you.
Stephanie, I'd highly encourage you to do that one.
That's a good one. I'm on that one too.
So you're going to have two council
her.
people on there. You know, it's a really, I think, a vital committee for our community because every year the things change and love your input. And then, you know, Obviously, the next time there's an opening on the planning commission, please reapply. I think you're excellent. I really do.
I didn't want to say anything too much because Delia and I are friends, so I didn't want to skew it too much. That's why I figured it's better to be quiet at this point.
And trust me, it's not because you work for PG&E, okay? We like PG&E. And again,
That's why I prefer that there was 2 openings.
You and me both. But thank you both for coming, and I do hope that Stephanie, you'll consider that other position for the time being. I have a inkling that there might be another opening coming up in the very near future. So thank you both for being here.
If you are interested, please send Tavin Kinnison Brown an email letting them know, and we'll get you on that one.
Thank you. And by the way, I can see why you're a public relations officer. You got it nailed down, boy. All righty, now moving on to council committee reports. I start with TAMC. TAMC, I got to tell you, was probably the longest time that we spoke on a subject that really was evaluated a number of times. The entire board agreed to it. And the way they started the conversation was that you allocated $500,000 to do AI on all 9 intersections along the Highway 68 corridor. We can only do 4. And I wish, I wish staff had worded it a little differently, because it really was, look, we budgeted $500,000 for all 9 intersections. $500,000 is only going to get us 4. Can we get more money? That'd have been such a short conversation, but as it was, the public talked, staff talked. I mean, we were there for like an hour and 15 minutes talking about one subject that everyone at the end concluded. Well, we need 1.3, we need 1.3. We still want all 9. So we're moving forward with synchronizing all 9 intersections. The initial $500,000 was only going to take care of 4. What I found a little frustrating hearing TAMC staff, they discussed that they weren't sure if all the conduits would fit that one more piece of wire that they needed to get through there. They even commented that some of these conduits are old galvanized pipe, and some of them rust, and so you can't really get the item through there. And they didn't know exactly where all the pipes were. And I'm thinking, you guys do this for a living and you don't map these intersections? I would think that would be common sense. If you do an intersection, you put on a little piece of paper or somewhere that's safe and say, okay, going across is the 3-inch conduit. It's metal or it's plastic. And I don't know, that's to me just common sense. The other part is, there's a thing called cathodic protection. I don't know if you're all aware of that, but basically you run a little current of electricity through a metal pipe and it keeps it from rusting. So why these metal pipes are rusting is obvious to me. That obviously Caltrans has not looked into cathodic protection. Again, I'm thinking, you're a statewide agency. Aren't these kind of common sense things? And I did ask the folks after at the end of the meeting, because I didn't want to put them on the spot, but that was TAMC. Moving on to the mayor's report. Unfortunately, that was the day that bug my wife was carrying got me, and I had to stay home. It would be unfair to give that little bug to the rest of the mayors, so I decided I'd stay home. Okay, Salinas Valley Recycles.
Yes, we talk trash all the time at Salinas Valley Recycle. That's my favorite line for that group. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, April 17th, here in the council chambers at 6 p.m. Public is invited to attend and learn what we're doing and see what we're doing. I think we're just about in the home stretch for our budget this year, and it looks good. And we just received the authority just received a letter of commendation, and it was a press release done recently. So whatever the accounting, national accounting, I don't think it's GAAP, it's Gatsby. It's a different Gatsby. Yeah. So it's they checked all the boxes and they got another gold star. So our finance committee.
So am I understanding right? You guys are good on budget?
We're good on budget.
Well, if you have extra,
yeah, I know.
kind of use a little bit.
That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, oral communications. Lorraine, would you mind starting this?
Sure. One thing I was going to ask city staff, is it possible to replace the American flag at Central Park. It's pretty frayed. And if you need one, we can get one for you. I also want to thank you again. I'd like to thank Public Works or whoever was responsible for putting the little containers on Fano for, and I think people are starting to use them when they walk their dogs now that we have a location where people can put their little baggies in there. That's a really good thing. My husband's very happy about that. And then I also wanted to ask the staff if it would be possible for us to do either a certificate of recognition, something. As you all know, I've been doing this Americanism contest for the past 2 years with Fairview Middle School. We just chose our students for first, second, and third place. They will be getting recognitions from the American Legion Auxiliary, along with recognition from Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren and Supervisor Chris Lopez, which is really exciting. The students I think are going to be excited. We're going to do a presentation for the students on Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning. And I thought it might be nice for us to do something from the city as well, just recognizing these students. And I don't know if maybe we should just do something for all the students who have participated. I don't know. We can talk about that later, but I just was hoping that maybe the council would be open to that, since these kids had to write these. The first one for 7th grade was, what does being an American mean to me? And 8th graders is, why do we have the Constitution of the United States? So we got some really interesting essays, and we were really proud of these students. So we want them to know that it's important for them to be recognized when they do something like this. So, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Liz.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to what Lorraine just said. I did reach out to Congresswoman Lofgren's office. She provided a copy of the Constitution. It's a little booklet, probably got about 50 pages or so, but it has the entire Constitution and the Declaration of Independence in there. So they will be able to, it's just a little pocket-sized one. And we were able to get one for each student in the 7th grade class and each student in the 8th grade class. So by the time they get to high school, they're going to be ready for government classes. So I just want to thank staff, all involved staff and everybody who came out to the car show this past Saturday. The weather was awesome. People were all having a great time. I was able to present the Mayor's Award. I don't know who the person was. They never got up there when I was there. They were looking for him. They said he was somewhere. I don't know where he was. But the car was actually parked in front of City Hall, and that wasn't why I chose the car. It just happened to be there. But it was fun to get to see people who were here at our previous car show, and they were all happy to be here. I think the local car club that is involved, I think it's called Gonzalez Customs. I love their cars because I like older cars, and but they recused themselves from participating in the voting because they were part of the sponsors and they didn't want to create a conflict of interest. So thanks again to everybody involved. I think everybody helped make it a great success. And just to remind everybody, Salinas Valley Fair is coming up May 15th to the 18th in King City, and I'm sure it'll be warm weather as it usually is. So I hope to see a lot of you there. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Funk.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and likewise want to thank staff and volunteers for the car show. It was good. I wasn't able to spend a lot of time there, but I was able to do a quick walkthrough, and yeah, it was nicely attended and so forth, and looked really nice. Also want to thank reach out Public Works as we in the storm season as we and so forth. It's obviously a lot of things happened in the last couple of months, so much appreciation to Public Works staff for everything they did throughout the community and so forth. I know we luckily didn't have any major incidents, and so that was a good thing. And likewise, obviously the fire department's always very responsive and so forth, and with appreciation there, and as well as the police department. So if felt necessary, I've spoken up before, but as we hear comments tonight and so forth, and as we hear in other nights, which are unfortunate, but the reality is the police department is very much appreciated. Obviously things were taken completely out of context and so forth, but police department is very much appreciated. I know I talk to officers all the time and so forth, and it's they're jobs are very difficult and so forth. And obviously at times things are taken out of context, and it's quite unfortunate. But the vast majority of the community is behind our officers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Orozco.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to, again, thank the staff, the volunteers, and the participants who were at the car show. It was a great event, nice weather, and everybody seemed to have a really good time. And people came from out of town and really enjoyed the day. And again, as Scott mentioned, I also like to thank our fire department and our police department for all the hard work that you do for keeping us safe. And just thank you. I hear so many positive things about our police and our fire department from the residents, and so very much appreciate all the work that you do. Thank you.
Anything else?
And other city staff. Thank you.
Does that remind anybody of the last dinner?
Yes, at our last Lenten dinner, thank you, Jose. Our last Lenten dinner at St. Peter's Church is this Friday, and we're having tortas de camarón with nopales. So again, I'd like to thank everybody who's been at our Lenten dinners. Liz, we're getting ready for our reverse draw. I believe it's going to be in the latter part of June. So we're always busy at St. Peter's Church. Thank you.
I also wanted to echo everyone's comments regarding the car show. Told Carmen that everyone I spoke to spoke very highly. They were happy to be here. They loved everybody told me, love this little town. This is nice. I was very impressed with how many people were Gonzales residents. They either live in Salinas, Greenfield, Soledad, or other places than Gonzales. And most of their comments were, yeah, well, I want to stay here in Gonzales, but I couldn't find a place. And I said, well, you're not alone. There was a gentleman that was selling Gonzales globes. I don't know if you guys saw that. Funny story is, as we're talking to them, we find out their last name is Serrano. Well, it happens to be that their grandfather used to live right next door to us back in Soledad. So we started talking. I mean, you know, we could have talked all day because we knew their uncles, their aunts. It was good. And he had made all these little globes that said Gonzales. I thought there was really nice replicas of the water bottle. I don't know how many they sold, but they actually live in Greenfield and had got frustrated with waiting on the housing, so they went ahead and bought in Greenfield. And I told him, maybe we're working on it. He says, man, as soon as you guys build them, I'm here. Because Greenfield's nice, but no, thank you. So it's always very nice to hear that kind of loyalty that they feel back to this community because they grew up and were raised here. That was very heartening. And like I said, well done by staff. I was very impressed. Again, I don't know what army you had, but it obviously had to be a huge army because everything was organized. The streets were closed properly. I mean, there was barricades properly placed. Very, very impressed. Very well done. So thank you to of course, Carmen and the rest of the staff that were involved with that event. I think it bodes well for our entire community, how well we were organized and presented to the community. My brother, who had actually came with his son to show their cars, said, oh, I'm leaving at 2 o'clock because, you know, I got other things to do. I says, okay, it goes to 4 and awards are at 3. Well, he stayed. And he's like, hey, you didn't have any influence on this, did you? Him and his son won an award. And no, I did not have any influence. I spoke to no judges. I didn't know who was judging. All I knew was that luckily for me, Liz was able to step up and say, I'll do it for you. So thank you very much, Liz. I very, very much appreciate that. Because, you know, with the condition that I have, I always wonder, are people going to say, he didn't pick it. He can't see it. What's he going to pick? Right? But I figured, well, this way they can't say that she didn't look at it and she didn't see it. She obviously did and saw it, and she really liked that car. And I have to say I agree with her. There was one vehicle that was over the top. I couldn't even believe they brought it to our community, but I'm glad they did. If any of you guys got an opportunity to see the Diablo truck, wow, that was the artist. The paint job to the motor to the flip bed, it was an amazing, amazing vehicle. But the one you chose was perfect. A couple of things I'd like to make a comment on. You know, we've talked about it over and over and over and over. Signs getting trucks off of Fifth Street. I'd like a date, and I will ask you for this at every single meeting from now on, because we really need to get them off. I understand the cost has gone up. The longer we wait, can't help but think like Tansy. It's just fresh in my mind. We started $500,000 and now we're at 1.3 million. So we started at 25, we're at 75. What's it going to be by the time we decide to do it? And like I said, every day that we wait is another heavy semi that's beating up the roads. I heard that they're now going through the neighborhoods. I actually got a resident call me. They're coming down the Cielo Vista. I'm like, sorry. I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, you know, until the chief has that option that he's legally able to give tickets, those trucks are going to continue to come through town. And I don't know what GPS that particular driver was using, but he wasn't, obviously. And how he's going to get that huge truck around that very tight neighborhood, I don't know, and I don't want to see it.
I saw him pull into Rincon. I had gone over to get donuts, probably about 10:30.
Well,
He went down Rincon, and then I'm sure he has to do
Yeah,
that, and then so
it's prohibited to drive through the residential areas in big rigs, and those are posted, so those are enforceable.
Oh, okay. So the next time the resident sees them on a residential
There's no
street.
business out there in Cielo Vista.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. So you guys all hear that? So they're on a residential street, call it. Let's get them. No, but we need to get those signs on the freeway so that they know you get on Fifth, you're getting a ticket.
I
So-
seem to recall years ago, I think it was when they enter the information in whatever system that they use, it takes them to the wrong address. I don't know, Chief, if you can comment on that, but I think if I recall, it's that seems to be the problem, but hopefully.
Yeah, in Del Monte, that may be the case. We've discussed enhancements to GPS services to redirect big rigs to like the ag areas, industrial park sections, to keep them off of Fifth Street, and preferably they can all go down South Alta to Glory Road and get in and out of town. That'd be my preference. But, right now, they're allowed to come in both directions and clear up the streets.
Yeah. Okay. So, Carmen, I will ask you next meeting, so just be aware. I'm going to ask until I get a clear and concise answer. Because like I said, every day that we wait, price goes up, not only on the signage, but also on the damage that they're creating on Fifth Street. And unless we've won the lottery somewhere or we've won billions, it's an expensive project to repave streets. I mean, you know, there's streets here that I've been 40 years and I've never seen them worked on. Rincon is one of them, First Street's another. I can go on and on, but I won't. Oh, we took the issue of the pantry. You're going to take care of that? Yeah. Okay, great. All right. That's really all I have. And so closed session is next.
I just had.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have
Yeah.
a city manager report. I apologize.
And actually, great minds think alike, because Mr. Dobbins is going to give a little bit of an update on the signs. Probably not the best thing you want to hear right now, but we are working to move that along. But let me go ahead and give my comments, and then I'll let Mr. Dobbins close. So just kind of want to put this on your radar. Chair yoga at Taylor Farms Clinic is coming every Tuesday from 9 to 10. Cooking classes also at Taylor Farms Clinic Friday the 11th and the 15th from 11:30 to 12:30. And then we'll also be offering some art classes at the Gonzales Adult School. So they have various dates, the 10th and the 16th, but a post will be out soon with those dates and times. I also wanted to thank staff and everybody that helped participate in the car show and help put it together, Street Life and Gonzales Customs for helping. I want to say that we had over 170 cars, and we also had, I'm trying to nail this down, but we understand that there was somebody from Iowa here. He told Jessica he came out from Iowa, and he did indeed have a license plate that said Iowa. So I just want to confirm that. We had people from San Jose, a lot of people from Watsonville, Hollister, Gilroy. So it was pretty interesting to see everybody coming out to our little town and enjoy a beautiful day. And then I also just want to read this. I think Mr. make us proud, made me proud when I read it. So the mural, if you haven't seen, it's being worked on. And the gentleman started working on it Friday night to have it ready to go on Saturday morning. He started at 7:30 to 11 o'clock at Friday night and was there 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday and hasn't stopped. So he's going to work on weekends, not during the week. So he's, but anyway, he sent me this note. I just wanted to share a few thoughts I had over the great weekend in Gonzales. It feels safe to work there at all different times of the day. Like I said, he was here middle of the night. I'm getting a lot of great feedback. It's only been 2 days, and it will probably the mural that I've received the most positive feedback on. From kids to people just stopping by and saying thank you to the city for doing this for our city. They like the color and what it represents. They are happy that the city is doing something to enhance the area. Somebody even brought him a protein shake. And one of the tenants in the buildings brought him drinks and fruits and invited him in to eat. So he's having a beautiful time here in Gonzales and really enjoying himself. So if you haven't seen it, take a look at it. Again, shout out to Blue Zones for commissioning that project for us. And that's all I have. Mr. Dobbins, do you want to just share the update?
Mayor Rios, council member. So on the Fifth Street truck ban, we are going to reissue that for bid, and we're going to break it into a base bid, which is the signs on 101. And the additive alternate will be the signs along city streets, like along Alta and all that. Yes, there's the good news is we secured $53,000 from TAMC and RSTP money. Yes, it's going to be probably north of the $73,000 bid, the single bid that we received about 18 months ago. But we think by breaking it up and doing the freeways, we would, if it doesn't come within budget, and undoubtedly we need more funding, right? But if maybe city forces, city public works staff install the signs on the city streets. What I recall from that bid, $73,000 was $25,000 was just for traffic control on US 101. Would hope to get more bids than just the single bid, but we will be issuing that again for bid.
How about those digital signs? Where are we at on that? You know, the ones we're going to put on
the big one?
Mm-hmm.
It's in progress. Tavin is the one that's working really closely with the construction folks who are constructing it, but it's moving along. So I'll have him give an update.
Can we use that? Absolutely use that, right?
Yeah, but it's not going to be.
That's going to be a while.
Yeah, it's
significant.
Yeah. So when will we get an estimated bid on that, Mr. Dobbins?
As for let me pull together a schedule and provide it to the council.
Okay.
Yes, we bid it basically 18 months ago. So we have the bid document. What I need to work on is the bid schedule. It can happen pretty quickly. The other thing that needs to happen, and I can do this in parallel with issuing it for bid, is refreshing the Caltrans encroachment permit for the work on the 101 freeway. I owe you a schedule.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Oh, sorry. I just want to let everyone know that my son got engaged over the weekend. Oh. So that's big news in our house. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. We're pretty darn excited. My youngest son is engaged and probably get married sometime next year in August. So anyway, that's exciting. Thank you.
Congratulations. Good news. Great. Awesome. Good for him. All right. We're moving into closed session, and Carmen, would you be so kind as to read that for me?
So item 15, the city will recess to closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A to confer with its attorney regarding pending litigation which has been initiated formally and to which the city is a party, claim of Echoline Construction, Inc. And number 16, the city will recess to closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A to confer with its attorney regarding pending litigation which has been initiated formally and to which the city is a party, WC claim of Juan Mendoza.
All right. Anyone wishing to speak on this item may do so at this time. Seeing no one rushing to the podium, then I'll go ahead and ask Estella if we have any comments via Zoom.
No comments via Zoom.
Any comments via email?
No comments via email.
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and close that public comment period and move into the closed session. Thank you all, and If we can clear the room.